Hi, fourth graders. Here we are on page 27 of our SAB. This is lesson 11 of unit 1, and I'm also going to cover lesson 12 in this video as well. So you can see right at the beginning that we're looking at finding and correcting mistakes in large number subtraction problems. Always check your work. Making mistakes are always going to happen, and usually they can be fixed very easily, as you can see here. So right here, looking at this, what do you think the mistake is that they made there? If you said that they didn't line up the problems correctly, you would be right. You can see here that this number 5,497, the 5 should have been in the thousands place under the 7, and then 4, 9, and 7. So a very common mistake, and something that if you're just double checking, you can usually find pretty quickly. If somebody would add to check, like we looked at in the last lesson, 12,338 plus 5,497 is not going to equal 67,308. You can check for me if you'd like, but it's going to be way less than that. And then here is another example of a common mistake. This is a really common mistake, fourth graders. Look at the number in the tens place. What do you see that they did there? Hopefully you can see that they forgot to do 16 minus 9. Of course, you know, that would have changed to 16 because we would have had to ungroup there. But 16 minus 9 is not 3. What they did instead is they just flipped it around. They said, oh, okay, since 6 minus 9 doesn't work, we're going to try to do 9 minus 6 and put 3 there. And right away you can see that that results in 3 down there, which is not going to be the correct answer. I see this one a lot in fourth grade, so I wanted to point that out. A lot of fourth graders tend to just subtract up if it doesn't work to go down, and it's really important that you don't do that because you will get the wrong answer. Speaking of going up, this part of the page just shows you checking your subtraction by adding up. And all that means is that you're looking at this bottom number here and you're quickly adding up to get to the top number. And you can see if you're able to do that quickly and just kind of do a double check. So 9 plus 7, oh yeah, that's 16. 5 plus 5 is 10. So just looking at those kind of quickly does help you do a quick check on your subtraction. On this part of the lesson, page 28, it's talking about using estimation to double check your answer. Remember, we've talked about this word right here, checking to see if our answer is reasonable. So if I look here, 4,914. This is really close to 5,000, so I'm going to go ahead and round that to the nearest thousands place, and I'm going to say that that's 5,000. Now, if I look at this, this is really close to 1,000, so I'll probably just go ahead and round it up to 1,000. 5,000 minus 1,000. Well, that's 4,000. Think carefully for a little bit. Does that seem reasonable? It's 1,000 off from their answer of 3,065. Probably not reasonable because it's too far off. I know that these were really close when I rounded them. This is only almost 50 off, and this is only less than 100 off. So for the answer to be almost 1,000 off lets me know that probably it's not reasonable. Okay, there are some word problems on this page. We are not going to spend time on them now, but you're welcome to go back in and work on them at your own time. We're going to move on to lesson 12 of unit 1. So it says sometimes you will need to work through more than one step to solve a problem. The steps can be shown in one or more equations. So we're going to be talking a lot this year about strategies on how to solve word problems. And in small groups, we're going to be working on this very specifically. What this lesson is doing is talking about how do you set up an equation to show what's going on. So let's check this one out. In the morning, 19 students were working on a science project. In the afternoon, 3 students left and 7 more students came to work on the project. How many students were working on the project at the end of the day? So what I've done first is I've circled my numbers. I've circled the numbers that I have ready to go. And I'm also going to now underline some important information. I'm underlining left, I'm underlining more, I'm underlining how many, so those really clue words. Now I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand what's going on in the problem. Maybe I'm even making a picture in my head. Maybe I'm thinking about, 19 students. So maybe there's a circle and I know that there's 19 students in here and I know that 3 of them left. And then I might even label that. And then 7 more came, so coming in. A quick sketch like that is going to help you a lot. I'll put the 19 in there as you're visualizing these kind of problems. And you can also estimate. You can do a little bit of rounding, although these numbers are pretty small. We never round a number that's just in the ones place. But today, what we're looking at specifically is creating an equation. So if we start with 19, 3 leave, and 7 come, what kind of equation is that going to be? Well, down here they've shown 2 different methods. First of all, Anita's method, she just wrote an equation for each step. So started with 19, and then she actually took the adding part first. 7 students came, and then when she got the answer of 19 plus 7 equals 26, then 26 minus 3 for the students who left, now we've got 23. Chad did something different. Chad decided to get a little bit fancy here. He wants to use a variable, so he's saying, okay, n is going to be the number of students at the end of the day. N is going to be my answer. And then he's going to do one big long equation. So 19 minus 3 plus 7. So it's really the same thing that Anita did. It's going to be the same answer, but he found a way to represent the entire problem in one equation. And that's 4th grade level. We're going to start trying to represent things in equations and multi-step equations as well. So let's look at number 3. A team is scheduled to play 12 games. Of those games, 7 will be played at home. The other games are away games. How many fewer away games than home games will be played? So we've got 12 altogether. So thinking about what we need to figure out here first, 7 will be played at home. The rest are away. So can we first figure out what our away games are? 12 minus 7, and that's going to equal our away games. But let's leave that there for just a minute. And the next thing that I want you to think about is, what else do we have to do? Is there another thing that needs to happen in there? So what we could do is we could think about how to represent this as A for away, and then we're going to need to use that A in another equation. You can do this a couple of different ways. I know I just got done saying that we would do a long equation for this, and we could. In fact, let me show you how to do that. So the answer to that, we'll still call that A, but we're going to put this in parentheses. And then we're trying to figure out how many fewer away games than home games are there. So if there are 7 home games, this number is away. 12 minus 7 is going to be 5. So then you could do 7 minus that. And it should give us the answer of 2. That's a bit much, actually, so don't worry if you didn't quite follow that. Probably what you were thinking is, Miss Di, why don't we just do 12 minus 7, get our answer of 5, and then we can say how many fewer 7 minus 5 equals 2. That's definitely okay. I'm actually surprised they put this one here as the first problem. I think that was a teeny bit complicated from what they were doing up there. But you get the idea. You're going to get multi-step problems, and you're going to try to represent them with equations. Okay, for your online assignment today, you'll have some word problems as well. You'll be trying to represent them with equations as much as possible. I'd like you to go ahead and do number 4 here on your own. So see if you can figure it out and see if maybe you can make an equation. Who knows? Really be careful that you're circling your numbers and that you're underlining all of the important information that you think will help you solve the problem. All right, and down here, I would like you to do numbers 13 and 14. So an addition and a subtraction problem of the larger numbers. Okay, thanks, fourth graders. See you soon.